Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Man the Maker, and welcome back to a new Let's Play series for Iratus, Lord of the Dead. New content update has just dropped for this game, and I thought it would be fine time to dive back into it. We have played it before, beating it on the middle difficulty this time, and I've been waiting for this update for this. We're going to play it on the next hard difficulty. If you're unfamiliar with the game, you can imagine it kind of like Darkest Dungeon, except you play the bad guy. You manage a team, you send a group of 4 into battle using their abilities. You don't really get injured in the same way or deal with stress at all. In fact, you inflict stress upon your opponents, which is really quite a nice change. And then you kind of manage your team, your stronghold, and just kind of develop and progress and then fight your way through as we try to rise from the surface. Iratus was defeated many years ago and has decided it's time to return. So we're coming up from the depths. New content update has introduced a new character, or minion. You can have the Unfrozen, which we'll check out. Also some new enemies and some balance changes. The balance changes seem mostly to be buffing everything. So we'll see how that kind of plays out, but it's kind of immaterial for our purposes here. I think we don't need to dig too far into those numbers. If you have not played the game before, I do have another series, which is probably a little bit more of a tutorial one, but you can check that out. This one, I can say that you will probably learn as well if you just want to hang out and watch. You will definitely figure out how to play the game. So let's just dive into a new game. This is what we are going to be playing on. They did just release Endless Rise, which is the next difficulty, but we can't do it. Gotta do good always wins. So we'll do that. Everyone is just stronger. That's all we gotta know. We do start with more resources, but that won't make the hugest difference in the long run. Let's go ahead and start the game. Let's go right on ahead. So here we are. This is our kind of stronghold. You can see we've got a bunch of different places that we can do some stuff. Creation is where we make new minions. Alchemy lets us manipulate some things. We won't get into that just yet. Once we actually use it, then we can talk about it a bit more. Talents are just kind of the magic, different passive bonuses you can get, certain buffs to these guys. That you just get experience. Iratus himself will level up and you can unlock more of those. Your minions also level up. Here's the graveyard. This is where you'll kind of be building a bunch of buildings, which we will be doing as soon as possible. And we can do it right now, but we won't do that just yet. These give different bonuses that you can staff with minions as well. Artifacts is, well, we can see we actually start with one. And it is War Drums. All minions receive +3 initiative for the first 2 turns of combat. Well, we'll use that. Initiative
now
is...
I will make mortals tremble before me. Well, even more than previously.
Indeed, Iratus, indeed. I mean, you can guess what initiative does, right? It makes you go earlier in the turn. The combat is turn-based. Probably should mention that, but the Darkest Dungeon parallel hopefully illuminated that. And yeah, so okay. I mean, it's okay. Some of them are pretty bad. Some of the artifacts. Some of them are good. They did retune them, I think, and they added some more ones in. This one seems new to me, but that doesn't mean that it's necessarily new. And then down here is the dungeon itself. I'll allow you to read that yourself. Basically, we are down here in the bottom tier. We're in the mines, and here's our map. Bit Slay the Spire-y, right? Kind of. You got to move through. You pick your path, and then there's different nodes that you will then encounter. You can kind of plan your route, and then you go all the way until you reach the boss. And then once you do that, you progress to the next one, then to the next one. These 2 are not available at the moment, so we can only go up into the 3. That is a little bit too bad, but that's okay. Early access game, after all. Our first battle is up against a couple of guys. I don't really remember necessarily what everyone does. The guy who's gold means he's an elite. We're going to be fighting a lot of those on this difficulty. They are just stronger, kind of what you can imagine. And as we progress, we're going to kind of like learn together and remember what each person does. I'm pretty sure the gold guy there is like a stealthy, sneaky dude. And there's a particular strategy that we might use against him, which we will be employing. And that's like a big part of the game, right? Who are you fighting? Who's in this group, and what do we really need against that? Is it someone who is weak against magic? Maybe you put together a magic team, or weak against physical, or weak against sanity damage or stress damage. So we'll have to kind of figure that out. And what we're going to do is go into creation now. And we're going to put together a team. The way you do it, you get all these parts, right? You get these from fighting, pretty much. There's also a couple other ways to get them, but doing the battles is the primary way to gain that. And then you fill it up. To make a skeleton, we need a skull, we need bones, we need armor, we need weapons. And, yeah, we could do that. We have a skeleton. We're not going to put a second one together, not yet. To make a blood phantasm, we need armor, 2 blood, and a weapon. I would love to have a blood phantasm. I just unlocked them at the end of my last game, because you do need to do some things to unlock certain people. I've never used the blood phantasm.
Angry? Good. I will use that against my enemies.
Are going to use that. We got them all chained up. We got our blood phantasm here. We can rename them, and I'll just say it now. So I'm going to record 7 episodes right now, so by the time you see this, it's going to be quite late for me to do this. But if you want a name of a type, right? Give me a type. And by the time in 7 a week from now, basically, I will put your name in. I do not mind. So put that down below in the comments if that's what you want. We're not going to look too much at the specific abilities just yet. Just know that they are positional. You can see there. They only work if you're in a certain position against certain other positions. And as you level up, you can like make them better and or slightly different. So great. We've got a blood phantasm. I really want one. The Unfrozen is the new guy here. Definitely going to take one of you.
Excellent.
Hello.
Those that kill will be well preserved.
Indeed, indeed. And you can actually, they all have their own unique bonus here. So if it's higher than that of its target, they deal additional 3% damage for each point of difference, which is actually nice because the first few turns, that works out great. The first few turns we get +3. That can make a pretty big difference. I guess you want to attack slow people. And he's got very low initiative, so that's not particularly useful right off the bat. Other things we want. Right. Gotta kind of think about, I mean, I have like an idea of the team that I kind of want to use, which I think is going to be this one there. The Unfrozen, I mean, I'm just going to kind of gloss over this a little bit. You do have an attack from the back. You do. I'm going to put the Unfrozen all the way in the back there. The Blood Phantasm, I think, is actually pretty beefy. Right, we can take a quick look at the stats here as well. I mean, you've got your attack, which is how much you deal damage. Dread is how much stress damage you deal. Accuracy, evasion, those are obvious. Luck is crit chance. Armor just reduces the damage from physical. Resistance reduces the magical damage by that set number. This blocks 1 physical attack. This just blocks 1 magical. We have none of that. And initiative is how quickly you go. The turn in which, the order in which you go. So he's actually quite beefy. He's got a lot of health. I think we're going to put them kind of up in the front, where you can use a lot of your cool stuff. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. I think I'm going to bring out a bone golem here. I do really, really, really like the bone golems. So just trust me on this stuff, right?
War machine looks like.
Yes, indeed. And now we got this one more slot here. And we could use the people that we already have. But I think I need to check. Do I have something that moves an opponent? I do. Call of Winter will move an opponent. And moving an opponent is very important, and we'll see why soon enough. I do not like the zombies. We are definitely not using the zombie. The question is now, what should be our last slot? I'm pretty partial to shades. I do quite like them, and you will see why. I'm not. There's so much we can do and pay attention to on the first episode. We're not gonna like dig too deep into what everyone does. We will just learn that right in time as the game progresses. Basically, when we get into fights and we start thinking about the things that we're gonna do, and we'll kind of figure out together, who's good at what. But the Shade I really like because he can debuff people quite effectively, making them miss, can gain us mana. He can move people around. I really, 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 really do like the Shades. And I think I will use one for that. I think I'm going to make a Shade. Boom. So we're actually using none of our starting team, which is an interesting choice. Now we can go and look at the graveyard. Right, next step. What we can do here is we use these Architect Souls that we have to build different buildings. They all do different things. And they require different things in order to build them. So not just the Architect Soul, but we also would need to use this guy. Then you have to place a minion into the building. Specific minions, mind you. In order to have them work it. So this gives you 35 experience. I do really quite like libraries in the beginning. Obelisk gives you more Souls of the Architect. I think that's... we're not going to start off with that. It lets you build more buildings a little bit quicker, but I think we're not going to go in for that one. This gives you Wrath to start off with. Wrath is what allows you to use ultimate abilities, but also there's certain special abilities that Iratus has that utilize the Wrath. Excavation gives you a random part after a victory. Quite good. Iratus Statue gives you extra mana after a victory. The Mortuary lets you heal people. Thankfully, you start with the Mortuary, which is quite nice. And wasn't always the case, I think. Or maybe it's on this difficulty, I'm not sure. And the Arena gives you 2 experience points after a victory. So you can level your people up in combat and have people outside of combat who are leveling up. What I almost tend to always start off with is the library. Boom.
How unfortunate that I need to rely on mortal knowledge to recover my powers. It's akin to trying to quell hunger with breadcrumbs.
Which, as we know, is difficult. So here's a library. Apparently the first slot, you can put anyone into it, only restricted upon building it. Now you can see here, if we want to get more space here, we have to get a vampire, a bone golem, or a lich. But for now, zombie go read. I know, it doesn't make the most sense, but it's fine. I assure you it's fine. And he's going to give us more experience points. But why do we want that? Right? Why do that over, getting more parts, which allows you to make more minions, and eventually make them stronger? But we won't look into the alchemy just yet. Well, because experience gives you talents. This is where your magic is: dealing stress damage for 6 mana, moving a minion and gaining additional accuracy. All minions gain initiative. We can restore 5 mana after every fight. This is the mana tree. Alchemy is like, you get more parts at the end of battle. You get more Architect Souls. You can convert parts and items into mana. And allows you to replace parts in a minion with higher quality parts of the same type. That is going to be essential at some point. But for now, I don't think we're going to really be looking into it. Ire kind of lets you focus on Wrath stuff. So every time a minion misses with an attack, you gain 3 Wrath. Drums of War, at the start of its turn, a minion gains 2 initiative for 2 turns if Iratus has at least 25 Wrath. You can lose luck, so less crit chance. And if you go negative luck, then you're more likely to get crit, but you deal more stress and physical or magical damage. And Stoke the Flames, all ignition effects on the target increase by 1 turn. There's something here that we're probably, I almost always have to go and get right away. But we'll look at that in a moment. And then Destruction is kind of destruction magic. So dealing stress damage to the chosen enemy and physical damage to ourselves. This just deals some magic damage and sets fire on target for 2 turns for more damage, right? Damage over time. This just deals some small amount of physical damage to each enemy in the first 2 spots. And this one sets a trap for 2 turns that blows up. I quite like that. And honestly, I think I'm going to get that 1 point. Now down here, Iratus receives plus 50 Wrath after killing a target with a destruction spell. We're going to want to get that, but not right now. You saw we had 3 points. We spent 1 on the first tier. Second tier costs 2 points. Third tier costs 3. Fourth costs 4. This is something that we're going to want, because the next kind of field in which we're going to go into is we're going to go towards this. The start of its turn, a minion restores 8 vigor, so health, basically, if Iratus has at least 75 Wrath. I went this last time. I find it to just be so incredibly good. So incredibly good. Because there are ways to get... there's one particular way. I think there's a couple more ways, but There's ways to like boost this up. One way you do it is by attacking and dealing damage. I think getting hit also boosts Wrath. I find it to be absolutely incredible. So we're going to want to probably go down that. This one, giving us the +2 initiative for 2 turns. Our guys have very low initiative. It's just a passive effect as well. Very low initiative we have. We won't start it with the first in the very beginning, but eventually we will, and it also works quite nicely with the Unfrozen. I think we're going to go for the Drums of War as well. Right? We need a lot of points.
Messy slaughter.
We need 1, 3, 5, and then 8. We need 8 more points until we can go for this. Now we can save our 1 point, or we can kind of look into something else. Now, really good to get early on is this, right? Just 10% more a chance of receiving parts. So I think that translates into just 10% more parts, I guess. Which is nice. That's how we replace lost minions and make tougher ones. Transplantation allows you to put higher quality parts into minions. So we created these guys. They're going to start leveling up. And eventually later on, when we have enough parts and enough minions, if this ever happens, you can upgrade your parts by combining them together over here in the alchemy. And this lets you take those new parts and put them into your existing dudes, your existing minions, pardon me. We're serious necromancer. We're not dudes. They're not dudes. They're terrifying monsters of the undead, of death and destruction. Anyways, this lets you kind of switch that out. I don't know if we're going to get it right away, but eventually we really will. This lets you level up, right? You receive a brain at the end of combat. This lets you level up. So you can get a level 2, 3, 4, or 5 brain. And that lets you just create a new minion and say, hey, take the brain, and now you're level 5 or 6 or whatever, or 4 or 3. Which on this difficulty might be important because I suspect we're going to lose more minions than we had in the past. I think what I'm going to do, I mean, we want to get these two pretty quickly. I think just the more parts is going to be more important. We're going to go for this.
The formulae reveal their secrets.
Unlocks a one that gives you more parts. Unlocks one that gives you even more parts. So that's pretty good. This is also pretty good. But I think we're going to push down here. We're going to push down here. This one just gives you extra dread for 1 turn if we have extra wrath or enough wrath. That's okay. All right, well, we have our team right now. I've got them in the position I want them to be in. We've spent our points there. We've built our building there. Let's go and get into the first fight. Let's do it. Choose a battle squad. Right. I mean, you can have multiple squads here. It doesn't make a huge difference for us at this very moment. But that's okay. We're obviously gonna use this one because we spent a bunch of parts on getting them. Let's go to battle. I think my headphones are dying. They are annoyingly beeping over and over again in my ear. Okay. Combat has started. Combat has started very quickly there. They are faster than all of us, as you noticed. And here we are. I mean, the combat is turn-based, initiative-based, very position-dependent. So depending on where our particular guys are, they will be in different locations. Obviously, I meant... Well said, Man the Maker. Well said. They will have different abilities available to them. Like you can see, these are grayed out for our Unfrozen here. We can't use them back here. We need to be in a different position. It's the same for them, right? Moving them around in positions means sometimes they can't use, like, this one guy has an ability from a certain spot. You can try and keep them out of that spot. Moving opponents also prevents stances from happening. Like this guy. He didn't just attack. He just said at the beginning of the next turn, he's going to deal 195% physical damage to a random target. Well, we can prevent that from happening by moving him. Just by moving him. So it's really like, you really need, I mean, there's some really, really powerful stances in the game, and you really need to kind of just have the ability to break them. So that kind of movement is really, really important. Also, I mean, you saw our, I think it was block trigger, right? He got attacked and it said block. It's because he's got one of those blocks down there. And, he just took no damage. You can go through block if you crit. Same thing with ward, right? If they do a magical attack, it can be blocked by the ward or warded. And yeah, I said in the beginning this wasn't going to be that much of a tutorial series, but I can't help myself. I just can't. So We also have, we can see down here our guys, not only do they have their abilities, but they've got their kind of special effect. We saw the Unfrozen, he deals more damage to people he's faster. We're not faster than any of them. Obviously, they went before us. The Shade, if the enemy attacks and misses them, the Shade will then counterattack. Okay. And the Phantasm, the death of a Blood Phantasm restores 33 vigor to his allies. Not something we really want to have happen, but if it does, I guess that's a thing. And the Bone Golem gets nothing. That's pretty sad. So, what are we going to do here? We got our Phantasm. We've got 3 abilities available to us. We could just do Call of Winter, a magic attack, for 45% of our attack there, which will do 10 to 11 damage. They also receive 20% more damage from all sources for 2 turns, and moves them. You can see underneath there, it has the little arrow, 1. We can use this and we can move this guy and break his stance. That's pretty damn good and probably what we're going to do. From back here, we can also freeze a minion, restoring some vigor, and receiving damage negates the damage and ends the effect. So a nice kind of like, oh crap, I need to heal my boy and prevent damage to them. Very nice. I really do like that. I'm going to ignore the timer for now. We also have Shattering Cold, destroying a trap on the player's side. So sometimes they put a trap down. If you move through a trap, you take damage. When they place the trap, you take damage. Obviously, we're just going to Call of Winter. And we missed. That is unfortunate. Because now he's going to be able to trigger that. Do we have anything that we can do with this guy? So he just deals 80% damage to anyone in the front row. But deals extra damage if he's less in health. So him lowering health is not the worst thing for us. We can maim. The target loses 1 attack for every 10 missing vigor for 2 turns. So we don't have any missing vigor. That's only a small amount of damage. The Golem will heal and move forward if he gets into the back. We can do Bone Armor. The target gains +2 block until the battle ends. And we lose 25 vigor. So there's some synergy there. And we can just straight up explode. We won't worry about the ultimates. Fortunately, we don't have anything in which we can move this guy, but I believe these 2 do, or at least I know he does. So we can just probably go for some attacking here. And I think this one will just deal the most damage. And I guess we just do what you do. We can kind of decide. I mean, this is the elite, and we kind of want to kill him as quickly as possible. Do we focus on him, though? I mean, these guys are easier to kill. Do we focus on the strongest one? I would say, yes, he's only got 15 more health than them and no extra armor, and he deals some extra damage, so I'm pretty happy with that. Our Shade here can do Pain Reflection. Any successful attack against our minions causes the attacker to take stress damage. We haven't even touched on stress damage because this team isn't really built for it. That's this bar down here. Basically, you can reduce that. When it gets low, they have a chance to break and bad things happen to them. Bad debuffs. Or Inspire, in which it fills back up and then they get a buff. And if it gets to 0, any additional stress damage they take has a chance to just instantly kill them and give them a heart attack. But that's not what our setup is about right now. Trick of the Eye, the Shade swaps with somebody, and we gain Evasion. Evasion is, pretty obvious, so you can use that as kind of a, oh crap, I need to save somebody. Dark Portal, we just gained 15 mana. Okay, we have that spell, right? We bought Spine Bomb here. 15 mana, we can then use this and gain that mana back. Basically, if we want to, we can have him deal a delayed 50 magic damage every turn. Use this, Dark Portal. Use this, Dark Portal. Use this, Dark Portal. Pretty strong, actually. He also does Blacklight. The target loses accuracy for 2 actions. Quite nice, right? He's got 100% accuracy. He'll go down to 70. But also, importantly, he'll move. And we got Gloom Claws. This is incredibly strong when we go with a Sanity build, which we will do. Right? I should say, one thing that I tend to do in this game is I don't like stick to one strategy, one team. I don't like follow a gimmick. I try and vary my teams up. I might have one that I use in particular situations, say against bosses or something, or a favored team, but I always swap them. I always switch it up. Okay, anyways, Gloom Claws deal 60% of the sanity the target is missing. So if you can do a bunch of sanity damage, right, you reduce them, and then you're kind of up to RNG. If they get down to 0 sanity, and I still deal more sanity damage to them, when do they die? They could actually last forever. It's random. There's just a chance that they die. What this allows you to do is get them down to no sanity and then just take giant chunks. I mean, if we got them down to 0, we can do 60% of that in one hit. Right? A little bit less than 40, like 30, 38 or something. 38 damage. It's a lot. And later on, some of them have very high, you can deal a lot of sanity damage, get them low, and then just like one-shot people, because this can also get better. But what we're going to do now, we're going to blacklight. We've missed again. Okay. Really don't want that Sinister Strike to go off. So here, now we're up to the Blood Phantasm. Impale, deal some damage to the boot front too. Okay. Hate Eternal, we can move forward and set fire to people. Transfusion, when receiving direct damage, restore vigor to all allies. And Mark of Retribution, we can mark a minion. Any enemy that damages the marked minion takes extra damage. Well, right now, I mean, I don't see much to do here. I think we're just going to deal some damage, and we might just deal some fire damage to you. We could also deal the double damage. This is 60% and then 30 until the battle ends. Holy crap. Okay. Let's set fire to you. And we actually hit him. And now we're just going to take some damage every turn. Oh my god, we got lucky. Our initiative allowed us to go ahead of the guy with Sinister Strike. Well, we're definitely going to use Blacklight again and hope it doesn't miss. It did not miss. And we moved. And he lost his turn. His turn goes. He's in his Sinister Strike. Now what we can just do, I mean, again, let's just move him. We'll move him forward. He takes extra damage now, right? For 20, Call of Winter. Damage received is increased by 20% for 2 turns. That's pretty good. I think we're just going to, well, we can't use Maim anymore, but it's a little unfortunate. Let's just continue attacking this guy. Or just miss him. Yeah, you don't... Okay, you've taken some hits. That's okay. The moment of revenge, indeed. We can just impale, and this will deal damage to both of them. We can impale again. Boom. This guy is almost going to die here. Attacking you quite a bit. Ow. They are going after her heavily. Well, we have a way to help that. We can do Cold Embrace. She's debuffed. She can't act. She can't do anything, but she's going to heal, which is nice. We're going to be happy with that. All right. We've got some of this here, if you notice. We've picked up some Wrath. So probably the reason that we went first is we picked up enough Wrath and we got that trigger to give him +2 initiative because of that talent we picked up, which when we're over 25 Wrath, which we have 68 of, we gain... we gained 2 initiative for 2 turns, so that's nice. It doesn't show up as a buff here, which is okay, I suppose. We can now use an ultimate if we wanted. Summons a cloud of darkness at target position for 2 turns. Any target that moves into the cloud receives magical damage equal to 30% of their current vigor. It's pretty strong. Pretty strong. Is there anything else we might want to do? I mean, he doesn't really have any... he doesn't have really any direct damage aside from his ultimate and this. This will do 30% of your of health. 57 going down and starting to degrade. But it lasts there for a few turns. On the other hand, we can just do a Spine Bomb. Boop.
Have a little tingle up your spine.
And then we can just do Dark Portal. We gain that mana right back. Yeah, you don't get to go because you're just kind of healing there. And you're going to die, right? He takes 4 to 5 true damage. Wow, true damage. So that goes through any kind of armor or anything. I didn't realize that. So you're just going to die at the beginning of your turn because that's when you take damage over time stuff. Let's just go after you. Let's just smack you down and do a little more damage. He dies. Immune to damage, so we didn't heal anymore. But we can recover vigor now. Which I think is what we're going to do here. We're going to spend this, our Wrath, attack twice, dealing a decent chunk of damage, and recover 10 vigor with each successful attack. Let's do it. Boom. I guess that was 2 attacks, though I didn't really see it. We can move right and left. This is new. This is actually new that we can do this. So that's pretty great. I think I'm going to debuff you. Right? He loses accuracy. He also moves to where the trap is. And you missed, and now you're going to get shot in the face because we are a shade. And now we can just start dealing some damage. I mean, honestly, we might want to just gain health. Being at max health at the end of the fight is probably going to be pretty nice for us. So I'm gonna focus on that. Let's just freeze you again. He dies from the explosion.
Never gets old.
We can just probably freeze another guy to ensure that we don't take damage. Skip a turn, heal. We've been blocked. You actually don't have a way to kill this guy. But I mean, we're gonna farm the health so we can use this team next turn. I do not mind that at all. Okay, I think we can just kill him now. Yeah, let's just kill him. And there's our first fight.
My will is a tide that will wash away your pathetic civilizations.
Indeed, we are angry. We got some architect souls allowing us to build new buildings. We got some parts, right? And we got everyone gets experience, and we gain experience. Plus 100 XP. I think we've leveled up then as well with that. And let's go back. You can see it carries over, right? We've got our blood phasm is not at max health right here. Okay. We also gained experience because of our graveyard building, right? You know, we built this library here. And we have not leveled up. Apparently you start at level 3. We have not. We'll slowly just, keep getting into fights and we'll keep gaining more experience. The harder fights, the more experience you get, etc., etc. Gaining parts does allow us to, make some new dudes, which we will do. We're not going to go in with the same team that we just had. No, we're gonna change things up. We're gonna mess about. We're gonna look at who we're coming up against. Maybe we'll try a more stress-oriented build this time. But that's gonna all have to be next episode. I think we are out of time, and this first episode was particularly explainy. I know I said in the very beginning, I was like, "This is gonna be that explainy, not much," but so be it. But we will be able to get into more of a natural rhythm as the game progresses, I assure you. And I hope you guys stick around for that. If you enjoyed the episode, give it a like. If you enjoyed me, I guess, you can always subscribe to the channel. I put lots of videos out, 2 a day. In fact, though, when this comes out, I think it's going to be 3 a day for a short time, though I usually can't maintain that. And if you dislike the video, give it a dislike. That does let me know. If you do so, do comment. Let me know what's up. I'm a learning individual, and I do try and hone my craft, if you will. And also I will say, if you want a minion named after you, put it down below. It's gonna be a bit delayed, I must admit that, but that is the trap of my situation. I don't do this full time. I have a normal job and a wife, so I can only record in limited times, limited bursts. I get 2 nights a week. Boom. And I just bang them all out. One series, 7 episodes in that night. All right, I'm getting off topic. If you want to be in the game, in the series, do let me know. Choose, just pick a class, basically. Pick a minion type, and I will do my best to name people first come, first serve. After that, going with the higher levels to start off with. And trying not to name people over my my grunt workers. Unless you want to be a librarian. If you want to be a librarian, that's cool too, man. No hate there. Books are great. Also, we have a Discord. Come hang out, chat. We talk about games, talk about anything. I'll put a link to that down below. And that's it for the first episode of Iratus, Lord of the Dead. I'm super excited. I'm actually going to put this episode out right now. So, honestly, if you comment in the next, hour or 2 from this video being released, you might get it a little bit early. All right, enough jibba jabba. we're going to end the episode here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm super pumped to be back in Iratus. I freaking love this game. And I hope you guys are excited to be here too. Till next time, my name is Man the Maker. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day.